Terraria. Isn't that just 2D Minecraft? Alright, so the first one everyone knows. It is your first time playing Terraria, and you somehow manage to make it to the end of the map. But then you find an old man inside a dungeon. You talk to the man and he says you cannot enter the dungeon. But you look around and there is nothing stopping you from entering the dungeon. So you decide to walk down the stairs, and then out of nowhere, that moment when you're just mining and everything is going well, and then out of nowhere, BAM! Boulder. Now once you have wings or the lucky horseshoe, fall damage is no problem. But in the beginning stages of the game, I think I die the most to fall damage, which is why I added it to the list. I have no idea why your logic added sandstorms. I mean, they could have been a cool addition, but when you just want to pass through, they can be super annoying. Now this one I think everyone can relate with. When you plan on making a cool base, or plan on fighting a boss, but then that stupid message appears in the chat and you know that you might as well give up and try the next day. When you spend your entire life savings on a stupid goblin that you saved from death. Now let's talk about the Empress of Light being way too hard when you fight her during the day. I like a challenge, but this is just absurd. Now you could argue that I'm just bad at the game, and to that I say, you are absolutely right. But I also want to get the Terra Prisma without suffering. Personally, I don't like fishing in Terraria. Terraria is a game with a lot of unique features that make it fun and exciting, but in my opinion, fishing isn't one of them. They could have done something like Stardew Valley, where you need to do something in order to catch fish. Instead, you just have to wait until a fish bites, and that's it. Now that we are talking about fishing, let's get this one out of the way. Okay, so I asked a friend about this issue and he said he never encountered this. But I hate looking for guide voodoo demons. I can just never find them, and it is so annoying when they just don't spawn. But once I do finally manage to get a guide voodoo doll, I encounter another issue. Waiting for the guide to spawn. Now this could have two reasons. One, it is nighttime, or the second reason, which is much more annoying, when the guide died, another NPC spawned and I have to build a new house just for the guide to spawn, and kill him like 20 seconds later. One of my least favorite biomes in Terraria has to be the underground desert. Almost all things there are annoying. The enemies, the antlion eggs, and of course, Boulder version 2. Like I said earlier in the video, I am not very good at Terraria, so when fighting bosses, I have to use the nurse tactic. I know pro gamers cannot relate to this issue, but when there is an evasion, or a boss you are fighting is nearly dead, and the nurse dies, it is game over, and you wasted all your money on nothing. So why do so many Terraria YouTubers use in-game items as their username? I don't know if it's just me, but I think that isn't very creative. Ah yes, the crawl bead. I think I died more to this little worm than most bosses in the game. Another thing I find very annoying is when bosses spawn randomly. Sometimes they spawn at the perfect time, but 99% of the time when they spawn, you are doing something important and know you cannot beat the boss. So you just end up dying, and it's all a waste of time. I also don't like when the boss is nearly dead, but then it becomes daytime, and the boss despawns. That is one of the worst feelings in the game. Knowing that you were so close with progressing in the game, but sadly you wasted all your time again, and have to spawn the boss again later on. Dairy logic, please reconsider master mode, because master mode is not funny and I am bad. No, but seriously, master mode isn't fun and it should have never been added in the first place. They knew that mods would take over the game, and they also know that mods add a lot of different game modes. So they could have just used that time to add a few more cool items, instead of making this sad excuse of a challenging game mode. Now, I don't know if this is really an issue with the game, but I think that Golem is still too easy. Like, after Bleeding Plantera you unlock this big cool temple, and once you make it to the end there's a big room where you can spawn a boss. You would expect this to be the hardest boss you've encountered so far, but instead it's one of the easiest. Now luckily this doesn't happen too often, but when you are mining for chlorophyte and you accidentally spawn Plantera, yeah, you will probably die. Now this one is just a bit weird. Why can't you mine chests when they contain an item? It can be helpful, but if you quickly want to transport items, it can be very annoying. Personally, I don't have an issue with this, but there are some people who say vanilla textures look bad. When I look at the texture packs, I have to agree, most texture packs look a lot better than the vanilla sprites. Alright, time for the last one of this video, but I will make a part 2. If you have any ideas for part 2, share them in the comments, and I might include them in the next part. Anyway, why do so many rats spawn when you want to destroy altars? You can almost never destroy all altars without dying.